Hello and welcome to the Autocar show. Now the Hyundai Santa Fe is just driven into town. And despite its four-wheel credentials, it's really a soft roader underneath. It's also a CBU and it's powered by diesel. Well, there are two other vehicles that have been around a while longer that are in this familiar territory. That's the Nissan X-Trail and the Chevrolet CAPTIVA. Well, we're going to put them head to head and see which one best suits your street-friendly needs. The X-Trail follows the old-school square lines, but with an origami-like feel to it. There's a few flourishes to the boxy design that make it quite distinctive, though certainly not the most attractive of the lot. The CAPTIVA could be called a hatchback on steroids. Its face doesn't have the aggression that is a typical SUV trait, but the sheer size and height give it the SUV feel. Santa Fe, meanwhile, makes a big impression. Bigger than the CAPTIVA and the X-Trail by a good amount. The strong jaw and crease lines give it an aggressive look. And the slung-back headlamps and bulging tail lights soften the edges. Whilst the front is very SUV, the side profile is quite car-like. It's a good mix, making the Santa Fe the one that you like to turn around and look at. Standing in this company, the Nissan X-Trail does look a bit dwarfed, and the other two look like they have more road presence. And having size on your side on the Indian roads is really an advantage. But let's get inside and see which one of them offers up the right mix. The X-Trail has a no-nonsense air to it, and the interiors feel tough and have a quality air to them. It's a well-thought-out urban SUV, and this can be seen from the loading area and the features here. It also has good space for the passengers. The seats are comfortable and a shade better than the CAPTIVA. The CAPTIVA has been around for a long time and has always offered a good combination of space and features. It also has the very vital third row of seats that's missing in the X-Trail. These seats can be flipped down quite easily along with the second row for loads of storage area. Not only is it easy to flip down the seats for storage, but even when you want to get into the third row, it's really a one-touch procedure and you can get in quite easily. But the third row is at best just a two-seater, with the wheel arches that double up as toolboxes, including inside. Up ahead, the dashboard gets a brushed aluminium and forward treatment for that dash of little flair. The CAPTIVA still looks good on the inside and offers up good features. But really, it's the newer Santa Fe that offers up more. The Santa Fe is simply feature-loaded. It's got 6 airbags, it's got active headrests for safety, the driver's seat has powered lumbar support, it's got 6 CD changer, you've got the USB and auxiliary jack, you've got steering controls. It's just loaded with features. In fact, let's take a look at the comparison on the features of the three cars. Now, what doesn't really feel great inside the Santa Fe is the interior quality and the way it looks. It's a bit outdated, and this shiny forward, the shiny metal and the plastic just doesn't feel upmarket enough for a car of this caliber. The space on offer is good, and there's lots of legroom in the second row of seats, although the seats themselves could do with a little bit more of support. Getting into the third row of seats isn't as easy as it is in the CAPTIVA, but once you're there, the Santa Fe is definitely the better third row of seats to be in. In this trial, the X-Trail and the CAPTIVA match up in terms of specs. Both develop 150 bhp from their 2000cc motors. Even peak torque of 32 kgm is generated at an identical 2000 rpm for both these top loaders. But that's on paper. Behind the wheel, the X-Trail is the one that makes the impression. Its free-revving nature and smoothness make it a good companion in the city or even flat out on the highway. However, when it comes to absolute punch, there's just no match for the Santa Fe's 2.2-liter motor that churns out a massive 194 bhp with a whopping 42 kgm of torque. And that's just from 1800 RPM.
If it's the feeling of power and being pushed back into your seat that you enjoy, well then the Santa Fe offers that up on a platter. It's punchy, it's torquey, it's strong. There is a bit of turbo lag, but once you get past that 1800 RPM mark, this engine comes into its own and really leaves a smile plastered across your face.
In a straight line, it's the Santa Fe that returns a stunning under 10-second time in the run-up to 100. And the gap widens as the soft-roader hits 150. Take the race to 180 and the Captiva drops out. Only the X-Trail and the Santa Fe make it there. But the winner is clearly the Santa Fe, making it 7 seconds faster. Out-and-out performance, no doubt about it, the Santa Fe is the winner. In terms of drivability too, the Santa Fe is no slouch. In our overtaking test in third gear, the Santa Fe is the quickest by almost a second. But at the top end, it's the Nissan that reads a bit better, with the fourth gear overtaking test coming out in favor of the X-Trail. The free-revving motor beats the Santa Fe by just a bit. All three of these soft-roaders use independent suspension all around. The Santa Fe and the Captiva have the bigger footprint. However, over the rough stuff, both these soft-roaders feel a bit unsettled and tend to be a bit fidgety. When it comes to comfort, it's the smaller X-Trail that cruises ahead.
The frequency selective dampers make the difference to the ride quality in the Nissan X-Trail. They're able to adjust to the bumps and potholes and undulations that the Indian roads throw up quite well, and that makes this back seat actually the most comfortable one to ride in.
Now, if you like taking the corners quickly, which one of these would you want? The Santa Fe, with its more SUV proportions, tall stance and near 1.9-ton curb weight, can be quite a handful, especially with the disappointing steering. The Captiva also isn't the one for some red-blooded hill storming. Lots of body roll and a vague steering coax the driver into turning things down a bit to enjoy the drive. But once again, it's the smaller, lighter X-Trail that really feels the best around the corners.
The Nissan X-Trail is lower to the ground and has better body control than the other two, which makes it more car-like in its manners. The steering is nice and light and easy in the city, but it's precise even when you want to throw it around corners.
Well, corner carving may not be the point for buying a tall, hunking vehicle. Instead, clocking in a lot of kilometers might just be. So which is the one that will be the easiest on your wallet? Well, it is the Nissan X-Trail with a significant advantage in the city and on the highway. The heavier Captiva and Santa Fe are closer in terms of fuel efficiency. So with all the vital aspects hacked out, it's time to decide which one of these three soft-roaders makes the most sense as a package.
Now the Nissan X-Trail is really well engineered, has good ride and handling, but it just doesn't have that road presence of an SUV and a third row of seats, which is vital for buyers in this segment in the Indian market. Plus, it's significantly more expensive than the other two. On the other extreme, the Captiva is real value with tight pricing, offers you a decent amount of space, comfort and equipment, but it's sort of a jack of all trades and a master of none. The Santa Fe may not be much different from the Captiva in ride and handling, and the interiors of the Santa Fe are a bit of a disappointment, but it does offer you the best amount of space. It has a really nice punchy engine. It comes loaded with equipment. When you put that into perspective with its price, it really is the pick of the lot.